This is the 19th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, Aftco, Pro Guide Batteries, X-Zone Lures, Shoreline Boat and RV Repair, Spro, Gamakatsu, Big Bite Baits, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Happy New Year. Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk about bass fishing. Hopefully everybody had a safe, happy, and healthy Christmas and New Year's. We snuck in one day 4 kind of in between the Christmas break. And typically here at BTL, we take off the first week of January and then come back with a full week of shows in the second week of January. But I was back in town. I had a couple days to get some shows together, and we have a great week of shows, including the debut of a new, well, basically there's going to be 25 or 30 new BTLs, and a day 5 that will debut this Friday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. A little bit different than the BTL that you're used to, just as far as the content. It's still just going to be the one-on-one interview form, but it is called Guide Day, Day 5, and we are going to be talking with some of the most intriguing and interesting guides across the country. So there'll be more details on that in the coming days. Day 4 is going to stay the same, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Uncle Frank will be back for another year of shows, and then Monday through Wednesday. So Monday through Friday, BTL programming this year, along with Fishing the 9 Opens and a myriad of other things. So it is going to be a very busy 2024 with BTL. A big shout out to the BTL listeners and viewers for making that possible and making that happen. Today's show is a BTL favorite, I guess a regular on the show, but we also have a BTL debut, and that would be none other than Miles Burghoff and his daughter, Riley. What's going on, Miles?
What's going on? Happy to be here on the new year.
Yeah, happy New Year. I would assume with what? How old's I'm not a good guesser of baby ages. Is she 3, 1? Nope. How old is Riley?
9 months in like 2 weeks.
Oh, so they look like people pretty early on.
Well, that's what I see. I've had several people comment about her. They're just like, she looks like I could tell what she's going to look like as an adult. I thought that all along, but I thought it was just because it was my baby. I'm looking at her. I'm like, you look old for your age.
Yeah. Riley, 9 months old, along with Miles Burghoff. Happy New Year. Hopefully you had a good, I guess it would be your first holiday season as a father. How was that?
Yeah. Well, it's been eventful as far as the parenting, but uneventful as far as fishing. I haven't been out on the water for a month and a half, which is insane for me.
Yeah, it is. Now, is that a result of just parenting and wanting to get all of the photo ops and time with the family, or is that a result of just not having the stuff ready to roll in the off season, trying to get ready for all 9 opens? Or
no, we've got pretty much everything ready to go. It's just kind of necessity with her. We were taking her to daycare, which we were already a little bit, iffy about, but we ended up, just because she's so young, and we ended up taking her out of that. We just didn't feel comfortable with it. So since it's my off season, and Katie started working, she's a dental hygienist again. I decided I'm just going to stay home with her. And even the days when Katie's home, obviously she needs a break too. So my wife and Riley have to sacrifice the rest of the year when I'm on the road. So I just figured, stay at home. So
I like it. She's already behaving better than the majority of BTL guests that we've had on the show. So, and like I said, so here's what we're going to do. This is real life. Like you said, your wife is on, I guess, her first vacation post mom.
Yeah.
And so you were like, hey, I got Riley. And I have no idea how this is going to go. This is kind of like jumping in your first tournament ever. Like you're not really sure how it's going to go. Right, Riley? So far, so good. But it may be in a truncated, abbreviated version. Oh, excuse you. Excuse you.
Bless you.
You say excuse you or bless you? I think you
Bless
said bless
you.
you. That was a good one. That was like running through mosquitoes at 60, just all over.
I'm just glad she had the plug in.
Yeah. It's always good in the boat or the baby. So we're gonna try to I just jinxed it, as he said. We're gonna try to work through a BTL, and then in the back half of the show, we're gonna let you go do dad stuff, and then we'll dive into the NPFL roster. 127 anglers in the NPFL. Like I said, I'm calling them the cat league because they have 9 lives. They keep coming back and coming back and coming back. And this year it seems like it's stronger than ever. 127 anglers, some legendary names on it, past classic champs, past anglers of the year, current anglers of the year, $1 million club guys. It is a very intriguing NPFL, National Professional Fishing League roster that will debut. And then what I wanted to talk with you about was I wanted to just kind of talk a little prognostication or thoughts on this year, kind of as we kick things off January 2nd. But it also occurred to me, you had like your best part of your year with a newborn.
Yeah, well, there was, everybody was promising me a win this last year because of the baby pattern. I heard that so many times, and I think that there's something to that, except for when you're building a house, changing leagues, developing a property, all those things at once. It was actually a pretty stressful year. And you could see, like, I had 3 tournaments where it was just like, dead in the water. But, other than that, it was actually not a bad season. Like, I fished pretty well when I ended up like just focusing on what I like to do. So, as far as I cashed 5 checks out of 9 tournaments in the opens, that's something I'm happy with, honestly. So points year, terrible, but as far as cashing checks, it was all right.
When you talk about kind of maturing as an angler, I remember everyone always talked about it, marveled at KVD about what he could do off the water and how it cut into his time on the water and how he was still able to remain dominant.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit like, have you noticed just with being a dad and with having all this stuff that your priorities have kind of changed? I mean, I remember covering you during, I think you had an AOY run on the FLW tour. Hi. And you've had, you've had the TV show. You've been all in on this, but just talk a little bit about that priority shift kind of over the past 4 or 5 years.
Man, it really has changed. It really hadn't changed that much, prior to Riley, but like when she came into this world, there's a whole new weight to it. That's why, like, I had a hard time like really accepting that baby pattern thing that everybody think about, because everybody says that, oh, it just relaxes you a bit. It did not. It did the exact opposite for me. Like the whole weight of life just was on my shoulders, for a good portion of the year, because it's heavy, man. Yeah. Having your first kid, it's a heavy feeling. It's been so awesome. Like she's the best thing that happened to me this year. And, she's an amazing little baby, and I love being her dad, but it is, it's kind of scary.
So like, are you in practice, like thinking like, oh my gosh, I have to provide for this child out? Yeah. Or is it like, are you sad that you're missing stuff? Or is it like, I mean, I can't relate to that currently, but I mean, I know a lot of our listeners can, and I think there's a lot of viewers who have kids and struggle with, hey, do you do the kid thing on the weekend? Do you still fish? Like, how do you balance that between like passion and purpose in life and then fatherhood and family life? Because I would imagine that's got to be a weird struggle internally.
Well, this year there was no balance. I mean, that was part of my issue, was there was no balance, because we had to build, a lot of people don't know, but we had to build this house because we were living in a 5th wheel. I'm going to put her in her wheelie thing real quick and then give her this wafer. I'll keep an eye on her.
Yeah, she liked that wafer beforehand. This is a safe place where Miles, he's not just
neglecting.
Dropping the kid on the floor. Like it's we had this kind of previously arranged.
See, all I need to know is we've already baby proofed this whole area, so we're good. There's just about, if she stops making any noise at all, that's when there's an issue.
I got you.
We're just gonna pay attention to her. She can only wheel around right this area, and she loves her wafer. But yeah, a lot of people don't realize, like, so we were expecting Riley, right? But we were living in our fifth wheel because we bought this 17 acres here in Dayton, Tennessee. And so we were developing the property, and then we find out that Katie was pregnant, and we were living in that, camper. And so I was tasked. I was chosen for the task of building a house, and we literally had to do it in 3 months. We poured the concrete pad after Thanksgiving last year, or in 2022, and I finished the house to where we could actually move into it in March 22nd, because we ended up having Riley on the 23rd. So it was
oh my gosh,
dude, you want to talk about being close to just breaking. That was it. Cause we did a lot of it ourselves. It wasn't like we couldn't afford to rely on, contractors to do everything. Like I had my buddy Ed, couldn't have done it without him. He came up from Florida and we tackled it out. We had a great contractor do the shell, but everything inside, like the framing and plumbing and all that stuff, we did ourselves in this place. And it was crazy. So like, to me, there's no balance. Now, normal, like business stuff, like normal fishing, career business, I can handle. Like, I feel like I can multitask that because I'm passionate about it. But when you throw into the mix all these other things and then having a baby, it was not easy by any means.
Yeah, and I would imagine it's like that with regardless of what your occupation is or what you're doing.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, dude, it had to be like just one day at a time. And then you've got a bozo like me probably calling during tournaments going, now, is it important that there's any chartreuse on that chatterbait? And you're like, dude, you're probably like, dude, I don't freaking know. I'm just glad I got to the dang lake.
Well, that was one thing. Like I found myself, we talked multiple times during practice, and I found myself actually like reaching out to people, my friends that are practicing more so than ever. And then it wasn't till those events where I just didn't pick up the phone once in practice and just went and did my thing. That's when things started to click. So that's kind of what I've taken from this year. And I don't know why I have to keep relearning that lesson, but just go do your own thing, and it works out. It's a whole lot easier. That's why I'm looking forward to this year.
Why don't you think any of the dudes who had a lot of experience, and I'll throw you in that bucket, I mean, you fish at this level a lot, made the Elite Series this past year? I know John Garrett and a number of those guys have a lot of experience, but I'm talking about at that professional level. I mean, dude, you knew the group of guys that were in that open trail this past year, and they're all fishing it this year or fishing the MPFL, or it broke their back and they're like BFL co-angling now. They just gave up everything. It just completely shattered their spirit.
I don't know. I think it was a pretty extraordinary year. I think there's also a lot of hype around forward-facing sonar and like the implications that has or doesn't have, or whatever. There's a lot of arguments on that, and I think that a lot of guys. I just did not. I said it from the very beginning. Like, if you don't fish good, you're just not going to make the Elite Series. And I did not fish good, this year in several events. And so if you're not it doesn't matter who you are, what your accolades have been in the past. If you're not fishing good and applying your experiences that you've had over your career into what's happening on that lake at that moment, you're just not going to do well. I think that a lot of anglers, including myself, that have been around the block, a few times, I think we lost a little bit of focus on like what we do well, because we think that we have to fish forward facing sonar and do this stuff that other guys are doing out there that is really revolutionary. There's a lot of things that you can do with forward facing sonar that isn't anything really different. You're just kind of optimizing your opportunities with it. But there's a lot of things that guys are doing that we've never seen before. And I think that I know, for instance, I tried to do that in an event or two, and it completely brought me out of my game, out of the zone. So I think there's a little bit of that going on. And other than that, we just had some really good talent on the opens this year, the EQs. It was very competitive.
All right, we're going to take a quick short break. First show of the 2024 season, BTL with Miles Burghoff and his 9-month-old daughter Riley, who's being very good. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk about kicking off the year with high expectations, because based on your history on Okeechobee, where the opens kick off in about 3 weeks, or about a month, exactly a month from now, you've got to have some high expectations. So I know regardless of where you fish, what level, you always have that first derby. Some places it's February, sometimes it's March, April, May, but how you kind of temper those expectations when you just want to jump out of the gates and absolutely hammer them. So BTL on a Tuesday with Miles Burghoff. We will be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
I'm the kind of guy that never leaves a house without a pocket knife, and Gamakatsu's come out with the EDC series of knives. EDC stands for everyday carry, so whether you're on the water or off, you can always have it with you. The best thing about it to me is that assisted open feature. With this D2 blade, you've got it right here at your fingertips, so if you can't find your scissors, you need to cut a knot, you need to cut your braid, you've always got it. Make sure you check it out. Never leave home without your Gamakatsu EDC knife.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence. Sunline.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com. All right, we are back. Miles Burghoff kicking things off in 2024 for BTL. And like I mentioned before, that first derby of the year, I've always kind of struggled with, because regardless of what level it is, you always want to get off to a good start at the beginning of the year. You want to meet your expectations, to get things off, whether it's for your club angler of the year, whether it's for the Opens EQ. And you're in a unique situation where we're headed to Okeechobee, a place where you've had a lot of success before. And we talked a little bit off camera when I booked this show. But how are you kind of preparing and approaching Okeechobee without having your expectations set too high going into that first event here in about a month?
Okeechobee is by far my favorite tournament fishery. When I was going to school down at University of Central Florida, that was, my spot. I just love it. I just have like the thing about Okeechobee is like, you can't fish it by history. There's a lot of lakes that you can fish history. The only thing that you can do on Okeechobee as far as history wise is like the different techniques. So I really am not doing much as far as preparation. I don't think I'm going to be doing any pre-fishing. I'm definitely not doing pre-fishing. I toyed around with the idea of going down there and driving around, because the one thing about Okeechobee is that the grass is what is so important on that fishery. So knowing how the grass lays out and like what areas look good and have all the ingredients, like that's the most important part. And so, the last time I was there, we fished the pro circuit there in 2021. I got a top 10 there, and a lot of it had to do with going down there, driving around, and just looking for the areas that look good. So fortunately, we still have 4.5
5 days of practice. Yeah.
5 days of practice. Yeah. So I can take a full day, even a day and a half, drive around the lake and pretty much know exactly the areas that I want to focus on for the event. So I'm really not doing a lot of preparation, which I love. I'm not saying that like I'm a shoe-in at that event or anything like that, but it's a fishery I feel comfortable with. Everybody says, oh, it's changed so much, but I've seen it when it was so low that you couldn't get within 150 yards of the grass line, with
Oh,
your
wow.
boat. Yeah. Like when it was like 9 foot or even less than that, it was crazy back then, when you had to fish just offshore flats, with lipless crankbaits and stuff like that. So I've seen it, change over the years. I never fished the same place twice, it seems like. So I can't wait to get down there.
What are some characteristics that all consistently good anglers in Florida share?
I think that they don't make it too complicated. It's really not. When you learn Florida, you realize how easy it is, or how simple it is. Maybe not easy, but simple.
So almost like smallmouth fishing?
Yeah. I liken it to fishing up north a lot. And again, I overcomplicate things. We talked about going to the St. Lawrence River last year, which I sucked at. And I overcomplicate things. I don't have a lot of experience down there, but that's the biggest thing, man. And I also see a lot of people, they don't know how to practice Florida. They everything looks good. So you just want to slow down and start picking everything apart, but you just got to like kind of, run around until you find the right areas.
Excited with the changes that Bass has made. I don't think I've had you on since we talked about the changes that they made going forward into 2024.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Obviously, the payouts are kind of the biggest deal. I mean, under the new payout scale, I would have made an extra $6-something grand last year. So the payouts are the best I've seen in a long time. And they've also, deepened the payouts a little bit. I think we're going down to 45 places now, which isn't a lot, but I've been on the bubble.
Yeah, that would give me an extra like 12 grand over the last 3 years.
Yeah, so I think it's moving in the right direction. It's still not great. It's still hard to make a profit on fishing the opens, but they're going in the right direction, and the exposure opportunities I believe have been increased, and so overall I think Bass is really trying to bolster that trail. And so I'm all in. I'm really happy to see the changes for this year. Obviously, we're all fishing it to make the Elite Series, but it is awful nice that they're making the changes to make it, a little bit easier for us while we're fishing the opens.
Bass Fanatic, I hope I'm not like letting the cat out of the bag or anything, but he said that Matt Steffen talked about it on something. He said Matt Steffen mentioned that you guys were planning a TV show.
Well, we don't have anything, solid yet, but we're Matt and I are really good friends. We've been, kind of like best friends on tour when we were fishing the pro circuit together. And we've always wanted to do something, content wise together. So that's definitely, we're working on doing something. I don't know exactly what it is. TV show is way too early to say TV show, but we definitely want to work together because we really enjoy, fishing together and hanging out.
Because he's got 2 boys, you got a 9-month-old. You both drop videos on your YouTube channels every single day.
Yeah.
He's new to the BPT this year. You're fishing all 9 opens, and you're gonna add a TV show.
Yeah, right.
It's a weird time
too early for that.
It's a weird time to be you're a professional angler. It's a weird time, in my opinion, to be a professional angler, because with all of the social media channels now and everything that we're seeing getting dropped with new podcasts and series, and shows and content, it almost feels like you're never doing enough and someone is always doing more than you. And then you add and add. I mean, do you get that feeling too when you're trying to put together kind of your portfolio?
All the time. And the thing that I have to keep reminding myself of is that everybody has an audience, right? Now, some audiences are a little bit smaller than others. And I really had to change my mindset on it because like I've always been results based, results focused. And when you're talking about like building a YouTube channel, like my YouTube channel grew a ton this year, but it took a long time for that trend to go in the direction where it was actually seeming like it was worth my time. And so you got to just do it for the viewers. You got to do it for yourself and do it for the viewers and just create the best content possible. And I sincerely think that if you get people excited about fishing and teach them how to do it better, it's just all going to work out in the end. And I kind of took the lesson from Matt, because I remember 4 years ago or something like that, 3 or 4 years ago, when he told me, the moment he told me he was going to start a YouTube channel and do a video every single day, and I was like, good luck with that, because I know how hard it is to come up with the content ideas and to do that. But he's done it and he's grown his channel big time. And once I started doing that this year, things really started flowing, and I love it, man. I really do. I get a lot of great viewers, a lot of great comments, a lot of great questions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of fun.
So when does the show drop?
The show?
Yeah, the fishing show that you guys are doing. Matt's on here. He said, Miles didn't want me leaking it on my channel. It's out there now. Now you got to do it, because I mean, you guys are two of the most informative and well-liked guys out there.
Well, we're working on something. I don't know. We're working on something. That's one of the things that, in this business, you want to be able to own the content that you're putting out there. And so that's something that Matt and I have really, shared, and we've really talked about a lot of things and wanted to do something that really maybe wasn't even as much bass fishing. And so we, coming into this new year, we're like, let's really put a lot of energy into this and get something started. It at the very least, it'll be fun, and it'll be a lot of fun for people to watch.
You did, how many years did you do Sweetwater for with Joey? Like 7?
We did it for 8 years. 2014 was the first year.
That was a fully produced production TV show. Like, I mean, that is like a fishing TV show. How much work is it to do a full-on production TV show like that? Is it more or less than you would expect?
A tremendous amount of work. But here's the thing is, like, the reason why I'm a little bit more conservative about like actually saying that we're going to be doing a TV show is the fact that, there is a lot of work behind the scenes. And, I was hired to do that show along with Joey. So it wasn't like we were having to handle a lot of the production needs for that show. So there's a huge learning curve. There's a big barrier to entry to doing something that has a high production value, something like that. So, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of logistics. So, we don't know exactly what we're in for, but we're enjoying the ride. Both Matt and I very motivated to do cool stuff, as far as content wise. And so it's a good project to work on.
How do you think he's going to do over on the BPT? You think he's going to be able to handle the heat?
I think so. I think so. And I'm going to tell you why I think Matt's going to do great on there is number one, he's built his platform. He's really got a lot of momentum right now. And when you own, you kind of your destiny, you can control your destiny a little bit. That takes a lot of weight off of your shoulders competitively. And I really think that he's in a good spot. I think he's definitely going to be one of my picks for a top 10, finish in the AOY.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, he's got a tackle company that's exploding. Yeah. The core tackle that him and Johnny Schultz do. He's coming off of a win, and he's got one of the fastest growing YouTube channels. So all sorts of exciting stuff. Guess what? We made it a half hour, Miles.
A half hour already?
A half hour is her limit. I know. We were going to prognostic. Is that the word? Prognosticate? That's not what you get at the doctor's office when you turn 50, is it?
No.
No.
I already had one of those.
We were going to, I think prognosticate is the correct word. We were going to prognosticate angler of the years and who was in and all that. But I think we leave that for another episode when you have the opportunity to maybe have some, a little bit more research at the tip of your fingers. Is that fair?
Yeah. No, I appreciate that because she's a really well-behaved baby, but
she did a very good job.
She needs more attention, but yeah.
Like most BTL guests, about a half hour threshold, and then things start going downhill.
Right.
So I'm gonna let you go. Yeah, you got a lot on your plate. Plus, you have a corgi that wears a fishing jersey, which I am corgis in my top 3 of favorite dogs of all. Oh my gosh, a bonus corgi! Oh, this just made my day.
There's Doppler.
What does Doppler think of Riley? Is he a little jealous?
He's tolerant. He's very tolerant. He's starting to get to the point where he'll actually come over to when Riley's in the wheelie thing that she's in right now. Turn around.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's his worst nightmare in that situation. Sorry, I'm moving the camera all around.
No, that's fine.
Commented on that, but
yeah,
he's such a good little big brother to her.
I love when you stuff him in the sonar jersey.
I know. My wife is really good at dressing that dog.
And then Doppler, obviously, with your nickname and the history that's there, that was just such a natural name. I chuckled. Yeah. I did not know that Doppler was named Doppler.
Yeah, that was Katie's idea. I get
tolerant is the word he used for my wife when it comes to my fishing.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Katie wanted to continue that line of names, that kind of go with the radar theme. But I was just like, I gotta get the next one. So it's either going to be like Frodo or Lieutenant Dan, because they have such short legs.
Yeah, that would be legendary. Hey, anything new? Every time I turn my head, Z-Man's coming out with new stuff. Yeah. Anything new in 2024 that, every once in a while they did, was it the Hellraiser thing? And then they've done like the little micros that I've gotten into. Anything new in 24 that we need to be on the lookout for that isn't out yet?
Well, not that I know of. I've got a call in with them at some point. I wanted to kind of, see what they've got working on and see if I can help them with any prototypes or anything like that, testing. So right now, I don't know of anything that's brand new that's going to be coming out, but some of the new baits, like a lot of people have been asking me about that Chatterbait Elite Evo.
Yeah. What is the deal with that?
That is a pretty awesome chatterbait. It really is.
There's times where you're going to throw that instead of a jackhammer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Really?
Honestly, I've fished it. I love it. It's very similar to a jackhammer as far as the action, and a lot of the components, like the clip, the snap is similar. They're not the same bait, right? So they're not exactly the same, but they have a really good a batch of colors that they've created for that version specifically. And so there's some really good. There's like one really good a craw color. I think it's man, I need to brush up on the new color names, but there's some really cool colors in that line. And so that's kind of, for me, that one craw one I'm going to be fishing quite a bit. It's like a red and green pumpkin. I need to look at the color. I'm a bad pro staffer.
I'll pull it up and see. Here we go. Let's see if I can make this work here real quick. I think I got it. It's got to be that right there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. That one right there. Lava craw. That's I knew it was at the tip of my tongue. But and another thing that they did really well with is,
Sam.
So one of the things that I get some complaints about the paint holding on the blades of some of the chatterbaits. And when I picked that chatterbait up at ICAST this year, the Evo, I realized that the resin that they used felt denser, it felt thicker. And I asked them about that, and they're like, yeah, we ended up changing that, so it should be a little bit more durable. They've got not only shiny blades, but they've got painted blades, and then they also have glitter painted blades as well. So that they've really kind of elevated that, and it's only $9.99, which is a lot less.
And available right now in stock, 3/8 ounce and half ounce at omniafishing.com. Working on some cool stuff with Omnia moving forward into 2024, but looks like they're going to be back, and always nice to be able to kind of get their take. But yeah, those are in stock. Yeah, you can see I like one of the features there. It's kind of got the jackhammer look a little bit to the head, and then the tied skirt and all that.
Again, it's not a replacement for the jackhammer, but it's definitely a good addition to the chatterbait line. And like I said, really cool colors. And they also came out with
cool one.
Yeah, and you can see the glitter on the blade there.
Bamacraw. Yeah,
Bamacraw. There's a bunch of them. And then you've got the new Chatter Spike, which is a trailer that they designed for it in Elastec. And that I've been doing quite a few videos on my YouTube channel about both of those recently.
Yeah, I'm sold on this one, Miles. That's a good little nugget. Sponsorship wise, everything stay the same.
Everything's pretty similar. We added a big one this year is Lowrance. We're actually going to be going away from the 3-brand system, because over the years using 3 brands, I still work with bassboatelectronics.com, but using the 3 brands, I've realized that I just really have always loved my Lowrance systems, my HDS units. And so we're going to be doing all that. All HDS units on the boat next year, and we're also going to be switching over to the Ghost, which I'm really excited about. I've heard a lot of really great things about that trolling motor. So we did that. We've added Sims apparel, which I'm really stoked on, because not only do they do a lot of stuff for bass fishing, but the stuff that I do in Alaska, it's a perfect fit. And they got a lot of plaid stuff, which is flannels.
I've gotten into the plaid too. What is it? I've gotten into the flannel and what is it called? The red and black plaid. There's a name for that type of plaid.
Lumberjack? I don't know.
No, there's some specific name for that color, but yeah, I've become a big plaid guy over the past 2 years, which I never really was.
Yeah, no, I have been over the years, but I haven't had a apparel company that I've been partnered with that kind of fit that style. It's like all sun hoodies and t-shirts, that sort of thing. And of course Sims does that, but they also do a lot of other stuff too. So really, and I've been using their waders since 2005,
Buffalo plaid. That's it.
Yeah. Buffalo plaid. I didn't
that right that. There, that color.
Ah, gotcha.
That red and black.
That's not my favorite of them all. I'll wear a buffalo plaid during the holidays, but that's about it.
I think a buffalo plaid with a black vest is just a classic look.
Ooh, man,
like you don't know whether you're gonna give someone a
Santa Claus if you're wearing
no, I mean you never know. Like, are you gonna chop down a tree? Are you gonna give someone an extra thick roll of paper towels? You don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me get your take on this. So I'm kicking off, and I kind of announced at the beginning of the show, day 5 for BTL, and it's called Guide Day, where and you might actually be a good candidate for this. I'm actually started out on Friday with Captain Justin Jones down in Florida.
Yeah,
He does the peacocks, the clown knife fish, also guides on Okeechobee, But my thought, and have you heard of any other shows that are doing this, is to really get to know the guide, the story behind the guide, the cool things that they've done, what makes their experience different. And then you spend an hour and a half with them. So if you're going to spend $5,000 to $5,000 on a trip, at least have somewhere, where you can go listen to the guy, know what he's about, know a little bit about the backstory. You think that's valuable for the guides that are out there?
Oh, heck yeah. Dude, I've got a lot of guide buddies, over the years, both in bass fishing and trout and saltwater.
They're the most interesting guys on earth.
Dude, they've got so many cool stories. I think that would be awesome to be able to watch a show with, learning about their backstories and learning about all the crazy stuff that happens on the water. I think that would be a great show idea, honestly.
It's so great that I did it, and it debuts this Friday. We record tomorrow with Justin Jones. Also, I've had okay, so I'm in a little bit of a pickle here too. So I went down to Mexico this past year. I was working with Pro Bass Adventures. Had a 10 out of 10 experience. Like literally, I likened it to an Alaska experience for someone who had never been to Alaska. You get to see that look in a lot of people's eyes where you're like, oh my gosh, this person's having the top 5 moment of their life, right? And you get to witness that all the time. But I wanted to do a BTL trip. Riley wheeling off, or is she good?
Yeah, she's.
Are we gonna
lose dirty laundry?
Oh, I gotcha. And I'll let you go after this. But anyway, I mentioned, so I talked with the owner, Pro Bass Adventures. I'm like, hey, well, let's do something with BTL. I want to get a group of BTL people together. I mentioned it, and we will have more details in the next couple weeks as to how the BTL listeners can be a part of that trip, which we may have to add a second trip because it's already rapidly filling. I was like, hey, 18 spot max. I was like, now if we don't fill this, like, let's make a cutoff of May 1st. And I think I mentioned it once, and I think we're gonna maybe have to add a second trip.
Nice.
But no, I've gotten into the guide stuff. Like, I feel like for some bass anglers, there's like a taboo, like, oh, I don't need a guide. I'm a tournament bass angler. I know what's going on. Dude, sometimes it's nice to go with someone and relax and know what the hell is going on and just enjoy the experience. And if you do it right, it's a great friendship and a great time on the water. And it's not a, hey, take this and cast here. It's like such a cool experience. And that's kind of what I want to try to bring.
Well, Justin Jones, he's a buddy of mine. He's an awesome dude.
Oh, is he?
I've known his dad for a long time too. I've actually stayed down with him at Okeechobee a couple times, and he is he's awesome. His dad's awesome. So you're gonna have a good time. I didn't know that he actually guided down for peacock bass. So
yeah, and clown knife fish too. Ooh. Like he does the whole exotic thing and stuff. But like I said, I fished with him. He practiced with me for a day on Watts Bar and actually caught him really good behind me. And I thought he'd be a great one and really enjoy the time in the boat. So I thought he would be a great one to kick things off. But I'll be picking your brain to get. I mean, I want the most eclectic, off the wall guys that people need to know about. Like if you're going to drop some coin, like this is a character.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm sure you could think of them right off the top of your head right now. You're already going and your head's working a million miles an hour.
Oh yeah. I've got a bunch of guys that, not as many in the bass.
Yeah. I don't think it has to be bass though, because like if I'm hiring a guide, I want to catch a clown knife. I want to go catch a wild rainbow. I want to do a sturgeon. I want to, you know what I mean? Like some of the stuff where it would really benefit you.
There's this dude, Alvin Dedu, I think is how you pronounce his name.
Don't be giving away show ideas.
What's that?
You'll be giving away show ideas. Yeah. I got to keep this stuff under wraps.
All right, never mind then.
Just tease him.
Super, super unique dude. He fly fishes. He does both salt, so inshore and bass down in Texas. He's got a great YouTube channel. I actually did a Yeti short video with him on the Devil's River in Texas years ago. So they did a Yeti story, short video on that. And we had a blast, and he really cool dude. So he would definitely be on the short list.
All right, Miles, I'm going to let you go. Anything else you want to get in here?
Yeah, I do want to, since we didn't finish with the new sponsor stuff, and Matt is probably watching right now, I want to give a shout out to Core Tackle, because I'm going to be working with them a little bit this year. They've got some great, terminal tackle. They're doing great things with the hover rig, the Ozark rig, and stuff like that, the tush swim bait hook. And other than that, anybody out there that wants to come over to my YouTube channel, you are more than welcome. I do a video a day, or at least I try to. And so love you over there, and the Facebook and Instagram too.
Did you get that? Did you squeeze that title sponsor money out of Matt Steffen?
No, no. We are gonna, we're gonna do some great content this year with that deal. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, they got some really unique hooks over there. So
yeah. Look at that, man. It's growing. It's getting bigger.
Where'd you start the year out at?
8,000 subscribers, and we got like
almost
1.3 million views this year. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you got a bunch of stuff going on. I'm looking forward to seeing you down in Florida.
Yeah. Shout out to that Bass Boss book in the corner there, by the way, before we leave. Yeah. My favorite book of all time.
It's a pretty good book. I mean, everything up here kind of has some meaning to it. I have the most expensive sticker known to man. That right there is a $18,000 sticker. I got a couple cool ones. I got a bunch of Epic Eric, the Bass Lab stickers that he sent me.
Awesome.
Yeah, have you not seen those?
He should do NFTs.
He's got
if that's a thing anymore.
Is that still a thing? He's got the Tug Life, the Epic Eric Bass Lab, Keep on Grinding.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to call him for my logo.
The She Thick.
She Thick. Oh man, I'll love this stuff.
But I did not want to. I put on one of the. There's a bunch of good ones here. I put on one of the smaller ones this year. I didn't want to waste one of the big ones halfway through the year. This is a freaking awesome one. Rise and Glide.
Yeah.
So
I want to get a She Thick onesie for Riley. Ooh. She's putting on the poundage.
She I got a buddy. I saw him over break. Like, so his wife is like a all universe athlete. She's like set every record at the college. And I think she's almost 6'2", very athletic. My buddy Nick is 6'4", was not the most athletic, but is still athletic. And they have a daughter that's 2 that's in like the 100th percentile.
Whoa.
So they are not saving for college.
They're getting that athletic money.
That is pretty much a guaranteed full ride.
Nice.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. Take care of the kiddo.
Cool. I got a diaper to change. I can smell it.
Oh, that's lovely.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year. See you guys. Let's get this year started.
All right. See ya.
See ya.
All right. That is businessman, family man, YouTuber, and professional angler Miles Burghoff. We're going to take our final break of the show. And when we come back, we'll dive into the 127 angler roster that was just announced this morning for the National Professional Fishing League. It's BTL on a Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
Elite Series Pro Daryl Gleason here. My Pro Guide batteries keep me going on those long tournament days and long practice days. Always plenty of juice, never fail. The best part about Pro Guide batteries, it's the people behind the company. They have over 40 years experience in the battery business, keeping all of us fishermen out on the water longer, catching more fish. Check them out at ProGuideBatteries.com.
What's up, Bass Talk Live fans? Brandon Polnick here. And ever since I won a couple Bassmaster Elite Series events on X-Zone Lures, I've been getting a bunch of questions of what makes them so special and different. And really, the truth is, it's in the details. The little details, things like no cheap fillers in their plastic. That gives you more lifelike action, more realistic and vibrant colors. But don't just take my word for it. Go to www.xzonelures.com and check them out for yourself.
All right, welcome back. Let's dive into the NPFL roster that they did a good job of releasing early this morning. I had heard rumors. This is just my opinion on this. I would assume what happened was they guaranteed the $100,000 last year. You had Jason Williamson and most notably Patrick Walters and a number of other either MLF Invitational or I don't think there were any other Elite Series anglers that fished the NPFL. And then Patrick Walters goes over and does like $250,000 or something out of there, like wins a ridiculous amount. And I know that there was a lot of interest. I think they were shooting for like 125. They ended up with 127. I just from the top of my head is like, I think a full field. I mean, it's gotta be a full field for them. And they end up with 127 anglers for 2024 in the midst of all this chaos that is going on between, John Cox. Sorry, Mark. How can I forget? John Cox. There were 2 John Coxes that fished because I had to do John Cox, Florida. Anyway, The MPFL keeps coming back with stronger and stronger fields, incredible payouts. They've got a bunch of stuff going on this year, and I'm looking through the list, and the first thing that obviously sticks out is I'm just going to run alphabetically. Now, I don't mention the name. That doesn't mean they're not a threat. I'm just going based on history. Tommy Biffle. He's going to be Biffle bugging his way through the MPFL season this year. Zach Burge. That's a big name. That's a BPT guy. Younger dude, Oklahoma guy. Zach Burge is fishing both of them. Let me scroll down through here. Drew Cook. I mean, that's a top 10 Elite Series angler. Look at what he's done over the past years on the Elite Series and in the Angler of the Year. John Cox. A lot of the guys who have won, obviously, are back. Oh, there are some other names in here. Buddy Gross. That's an Elite Series winner. He's back fishing it. I see some guys from the Opens. Wes Logan. Wes Logan is fishing it. Where's Pete Pons? There's a name from the past. Pete Pons fished the FLW Tour, also a long-time Elite Series pro. He's on it. Kevin Rogers back for another year, one of the most decorated crappie anglers in history. John Soka apparently fishing both the Elite Series and the MPFL. He's been on a couple of podcasts recently that are on my to listen to list. Have not had a chance to listen to that yet. J. Todd Tucker joining Landon Tucker on the MPFL for the year. Patrick Walters is back for another year. That's no surprise. And then we get down to the W's, and I think this is pretty wild. You have your reigning and defending Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year, Kyle Welcher, is on the list for the MPFL. You want to talk about three guys who are in their prime, fishing as good as anyone in the world right now. You take Drew Cook, Kyle Welcher, and Patrick Walters, and I wouldn't want to go up against those guys any day. That's a pretty stacked field there. Also, you have David Williams, Elite Series angler, Jason Williamson back on it. I might have missed one as I went through that, but a lot of other recognizable names on that field. So a really good field for the MPFL. All right. I need to get back in the swing of things. I'm headed over to the man, the myth, the legends, Mark Jeffries' house. We're going to work on some new promos, cut some new things, change up some stuff going forward in the next couple of months. But I do want to give a big shout out to Miles Burghoff for jumping on, doing daddy duty and BTL duty. And then I also want to preview what we got going on the rest of the week. Arizona's Dean Rojas joins the program tomorrow, January 3rd, live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. Then we will drop a Day 4 episode on Thursday, and then the debut of Guide Day, Day 5 on Friday. And then stay tuned to my social media or basstalklive.com or basszone.com for the schedule next week. I know we're going to have Johnny Schultz, maybe the Omnia guys. Oh, dude, I got a really cool show coming up. A bait maker. This is a throwback show. And I talked to this guy last November or December. One of the guests hooked me up with him. Todd Klein actually hooked me up with him. This is like a nostalgia bait that goes back. I don't want to give it away. I mean, first time I heard about it, Jay Yellis was doing everything he could to keep anyone else from knowing about it. Anyway, that company has been through some changes. I've actually caught my biggest bass ever. The 11.4 came on one of those baits. But the owner of that company I have lined up for an appearance in January. We're going to talk about baits. We're going to talk about fishing. We're going to talk about the upcoming season. A lot of positivity headed forward into 2024. Thank you all for being along on this journey, and we will talk to everybody tomorrow with Dean Rojas. See ya.